and welcome to the Sky Spirit channel. How are you doing? Let's get that off for a start. Just a second while I just turn that bit off. We don't need that yet. Right, how are you? Hope you are doing well. Thank you for being here. This is the special PYTHASTRO edition of the show, and it's making me a bit nervous, to be honest, because this is the first time I have aired PYTHASTRO in public. It's it's a system of it says it's not, YouTube is not currently receiving data from this stream. Well, I beg to differ because I think it is. But anyway, that's enough of that. So yeah, so it's the first time I've actually aired PYTHASTRO. It's a system that I've been developing over a long time. With a lot of study of it's actually it uses, right, with normal tarot will use like sort of the intuitive placement of cards, whereas I develop PYTHASTRO, so you use astrology and numerology to calculate what cards that you're using. The PYTHASTRO system relies on each card being used as a significator, so each card becomes a facet of your personality. So we work out your sort of specific numbers using your birth name and your birth date, and then that corresponds with various cards that mean various things. So that's the general idea, and then of course you can read them in combination, and it gets very complicated, and I think that's why I'm a little bit flustered tonight, because I've spent most of the day working out people's PYTHASTRO matrices, or the start of it. Only the very first start of it, stage one of it, because it's quite a complicated, long process to work out the entire matrix. So but it's all good practice. So is YouTube behaving itself tonight? I hope so. If you're watching this as a recording, hello. Please keep watching. What we'll do is, I think, for a little bit of a warm-up, because I feel a bit flustered, we'll just do a quick collective reading and see how we go. And then we'll get on, because I've got some people to do PYTHASTRO readings for, which I'm very excited about, and I hope that you are too. Right, let's go straight to a collective reading to start with. So, I was just going to say, Brittany, if Brittany is watching, you sent me on the post that I put on YouTube, you gave me your birth name value and birth date value, but you didn't give me your sun sign, or your star sign as some people call it, and I'd need that to do your full PYTHASTRO first stage, so just while it was in my head. Right, collective reading. Okay, so we're going to do the collective reading, which might be directed at you, or it could be somebody else entirely, or it could be something more overarching. So we'll just go straight into that. I'm putting down 3 cards. Should we do it on the camera? Just because I can. Actually, I've probably got bits of paper and everything in the way over there. Yeah, we'll just move that like that. Let's do this. Right. We've got the Ace of Pentacles reversed, the Queen of Wands upright, and the Nine of Swords. Oh dear, this isn't looking too grand. What do these cards mean? Let's have a look. Right, so what we've got here, we've got our hands in a mess. We've got a project that stalled or didn't get off the ground, something that you thought was going to start. It feels like there was a new start on the cards for you, but it sort of didn't happen. You thought that something was going to change, it didn't. You thought that somebody was going to do something, they didn't. You thought there was a new lease of life, it didn't change. It's like something was going to feel better, but it didn't. It stalled. That sort of hand that came through the clouds and offered you an opportunity suddenly snatched itself back, and you were left like, oh well, what happened there? Because you were expecting something good to happen, and then it sort of disintegrated, just disappeared in a puff of smoke. And behold, the smoke is on the card. So it feels like that's giving you quite a lot of anxiety. Now, that Nine of Swords indicates something. It can be, sometimes it's called the nightmare card. And it often indicates that you're going through a time in life where it's very stressful. You're very stressed about something. Now, tying it in with this Ace of Pentacles, it could be that you're stressed that something hasn't changed, or you feel like change is needed and it's not happening, or you don't know which way to go in order to make this change happen. But it feels like it's giving you a lot of stress. It's keeping you awake at night. It's a period where you feel things aren't going to change. It's like that feeling where you think nothing good ever happens. I had this opportunity and then that's gone, and then all these doors are just closing, bang, 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 one after the other. Nothing ever works out. That's the feeling I get from these two cards, the Ace reversed, the Pentacles Ace reversed, and that Nine of Swords. But nesting in the middle there, what we have is our savior and queen. We have the Queen of Wands. Now, what her job is here is to batter these cards and get them out the way, because the Queen of Wands takes no crap from people, okay? And she is the instigator, the maker, the creator. Wands is fire, is energy. And this queen is saying, put your crown back on, because what is happening, what's letting you down here, it feels like you're getting stuck in a repeated pattern of negative belief. And when we do that, what do we get? We get that self-fulfillment of negative consequences. So where the thought flows, the energy goes, and where the energy goes, the motion happens. So I think I said that right, or I could have said it back to front. But basically, you've started to expect the worst to happen because of this little cycle that's going on, this it's a feeling of being let down, I think, as much as anything. It's a feeling of like thinking, oh, this always happens. I always get bad luck. And it's like, it's you, Mr. Steve saying, if it wasn't for bad luck, you wouldn't have any. Well, yeah, I guess you could look at it like that. But you sort of get stuck in these cycles, don't you, of negative thinking of, oh, this is bound to go wrong, or this always happens, or it always goes wrong at the last minute for me. And then lo and behold, it does. And so more anxiety, more worry, straight back to the beginning of that cycle. So it feels like you've been let down. But the Queen is here to say, okay, right, it's time to stop thinking in this way. It's time to cut the ties to this karmic cycle of self-destruction, of disappointment, of low expectations. You know, when you're not expecting anything good to happen, you don't expect to be a success, you don't expect things to work out for you, so you're going to be served up by the universe exactly what you're expecting, which is like it won't work out. So this queen's saying, now what we need to do, okay, is we need to change our expectations here. We need to raise the bar. We need to believe, self-belief, but also believe in a little bit of magic. Now, the Queen of Wands, that little black cat there, is to indicate that she's quite a magical lady, as well as being a force to be reckoned with, a force of nature, an indomitable spirit, a fire queen. She's also got this little black cat, which means that she's very intuitively connected, and she's got some inner gifts, some psychic powers. Hello, Pauline, how are you doing? Um, and so what this is saying is, look, why don't you remember the queen that you are? Even if you're a man, you're still a queen in the tarot, okay? Why don't you remember how powerful you are? And why don't you go within and use these gifts to manifest what it is that you want? Stop sitting there and expecting it to go wrong and then just lapping it up when it goes wrong. You know, like, oh, I was right again. I was right. It went wrong. Expect better. Demand better from the universe, and the universe will deliver. So be that queen, use your intuition, harness this black cat, magical black cat. Let's put some magic into the universe and get what you want coming towards you rather than away from you. Right. Well, I hope that resonated with somebody, and I hope it means something to somebody. And I hope, I mean, I really do believe that changing your energy and changing your expectation can change your life, I think, and you know, I think sometimes it can literally be a matter of life and death for people. I think it can be that strong, the power of belief and the power of manifestation. And I guess it's like down to, you know, how placebo works and how voodoo magic is said to work, where if you believe in something strongly enough, then you actually manifest it. So that can work for a positive or on a negative slant, I guess. So let's move on. Right. So this show, I guess I'm feeling a little bit nervy because I've not done this before. I've not done this Pythastro stuff before online as such. And also, I'm a bit out of my comfort zone here because normally I'm just like slamming the cards down by now and we've just got everything going like clockwork, whereas it's going to be a little bit different tonight. So you'll just have to bear with me and we'll see how it goes. Like if it all just goes tits up, just pretend that you didn't notice and just, you know, chat amongst yourselves and stuff. While I scramble around for words, and if it all goes horribly wrong, I'll just sort of shut the laptop and pretend that the internet went off. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some Pythastro for people who've been sending me their special numbers so I can do the calculations. So a little bit more about what Pythastro is. All right, so it's basically a way of, it's self-exploration. It's looking at your strengths, your weaknesses, what planets are working with other planets within your birth chart. So it uses astrology and it looks at the energies that those planets bring to you. And how they interact with each other. Now, at the heart of Pythastro is it's all about the complexity of your personality, the multiple facets of your personality, and how they interact with other people. Okay. Now, we've got various what I call paths with Pythastro, and the first one is called your soul path, because the soul path in Pythastro you have a soul path, which is the energy that you carry from life to life to life. Now, I have to say, if you think like I'm talking rubbish, like this is I always am, but I don't think I am, because I've developed this over years, and when I'm saying things like, and this is because your soul goes from path to path, I haven't just pulled it out the air. This has been after consultation in the astral with my spirit guides over many, many consultations and building this whole system. So if it sounds a bit woo-woo and out there, I'm afraid it just is. But it's all come from a place of authenticity and a lot of work that's gone into it. So listen to me just like totally bigging it up there. So right, so your soul path, you have multiple lives, we call them incarnations, yeah, but your soul path is one single energy, okay, which goes on. Thank you, KLG, which goes on and follows you through every incarnation. So we have the soul path, which has got the biggest influence over you, okay, because you are that inside. Even if you have a conflicted soul path, like you might have something, I don't know, Three of Cups energy, which is joyful and celebration, and you might be the most miserable bastard that ever walked the face of the earth, okay? But that would be because you have a conflicted, like, incarnate path, which we'll talk about as we move on. So it can bring challenges depending on how your paths interact with each other. So we've got the soul path. We've then got the sun path. Now, today, the people that have been sending me their details, what I've done, it's taken me so much longer than I thought it would, is I've worked out your soul path and I've worked out your sun paths, and also what's called your shadow and shine, which is your strengths and weaknesses that affect all your paths. So soul path, your sun path comes from your the planet that the sun was in when you were born. So if you think about, if you know a little bit about astrology, when you pop out, there's like, where, if you imagine a great big circle in the sky above you, and all the planets will be tick 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 over like this, and that's whatever sign they're in is said to affect you, and people that follow astrology will tell you that that's how it works. Now, I used to, honestly, like for years, I thought astrology was a load of bollocks. I really did, until I started studying it, and then I was like, wow, there really is something to this. And it's funny, you talk to people and most people say that when they start looking into it. It's like, yes, when you read the when you read the horoscopes in the newspaper, of course that's so generic. It's a bit like my pick a card, but on an even smaller basis. You're talking about dividing everybody into one of 12. Of course it's very generic, but there's sort of a science behind it. And when you get into looking at the uniqueness of somebody's birth chart, comparing it to their personality, then you start to see, wow, the correlations of how it works is actually there. Um, I was going to say something and I've totally forgotten about it again. Oh yeah, I was going to say a little bit about. Hello, Michelle. How are you doing? A little bit about a tiny bit about the history of astrology because I don't want to bore everybody rigid just yet. Um, it's Friday night. If you want to be bored, then have a drink and have a chat in the side chat, and just let me blather on in the background. So a little bit of the history of astrology that amazed me is that when astrology was first conceived, if you like, it was the same as it was used with astronomy. So astronomy was where the planets are, and astrology was what they mean. And they were two halves of the same thing. And they were used mostly for agricultural purposes to decide, when to plant seeds, when to harvest, when to do this, when to do that kind of thing. And then eventually they started using the system to predict other things. And this was like, oh, I can't remember. It was like pre-Egyptian. It was a lot of Greek stuff. There's like different branches were in different civilizations, like ancient civilizations at different times. And then lo and behold, this always happens when things get a bit powerful. Like basically the church, whatever the church was at the time, decided that it was basically nobody should be allowed to predict. Nobody could predict what was going to happen apart from God. So astrology was actually the work of the devil. So you were likely to be burned or hung or stoned or whatever if you were practicing astrology. So astronomy obviously became mainstream science because it's indisputable that Venus is where Venus is, yeah. But astrology, the art of interpreting those positions, was cast aside, and it sort of enjoyed various like sort of popular times over the centuries, even over thousands of years. You'll see that there has been, like, over history, there's times when it's popular, there's times when it's not. And I think at the moment we're just age of Aquarius. It's like more people are interested in it and are starting to think of it as, something more than just reading, your stars in the paper and that sort of thing. There's actually, when you start researching, there's actually a lot of astrology used on the stock markets, things like that. And there's a really famous billionaire who said that I can't remember. I should have written this down. In fact, I had, because I've written a book about this Pythastro as well. It's going to be released on Amazon in the next couple of weeks. But I wanted this quote in the book. I can't remember what it is. It's written by this bloke, and he basically says, look, millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires use astrology. And it's like, whoa, but I can't remember who he was. Damn it. But I will. I'll find out who it was. I'll find the quote because I want to stick that in the book as well. So, right. So that was about astrology. Numerology, of course, is probably just as ancient, if not more. Now, I love the simplicity of numerology. It's like it's not my natural affinity because it's numbers and I hate maths. But you can't help but realize that everything is built on numbers, like the golden ratio that you see in nature all the time, and the sort of there's so many synchronicities when it comes to numbers. When you look at the universe and the distance between this and that, and the speed of light and the Great Pyramid and everything, it's all like seems to be interlinked. Now, that's as much as my little brain is able to say about that. But I know that there are lots and lots of correlations and synchronicities with numbers, and it's also an ancient system, and it gives structure. So we have the astrology, which provides emphasis and gives interpretation. We've got numerology that brings a structure, a pattern of how things done. I love patterns, and when you start getting into spiritual stuff, you see patterns everywhere. When you just keep, like, I have certain numbers, like the number 19 for me is just like everywhere. If anything's going to happen, it's the 19th. I even live at number 19. There's just like 19 is everywhere for me. good and bad. So it's, you know, there's so many things. I can't remember what I was saying again. Why does my head go blank like that? I think it's just my age. Um, so yeah, numerology, numbers everywhere, bringing structure, making patterns. Yeah, the Celestine prophecy, Mr. Steve, that's a film, isn't it? I think I watched that years ago and I think it's awesome. I think it's a film, or am I being daft and it's actually like a prophecy and I just watched a film about it? But yeah, so interpretation using astrology, numerology for the structure and the patterns. So where does the tarot come into that? Now, interestingly, when you research the tarot, now I've been working with the tarot for decades, and so I've done a lot of research and I actually did a lot of training in it as well. And there's so many correlations and associations between tarot and numbers and planets and astrology and the Kabbalah and all sorts of things. They are all linked together. Okay, so when I started developing this system, I started to look at the associations between the numbers and the planets, between the planets and the cards, and looking at how these things all fit together. Okay. Which is how I came up with the system, right? The tarot provides the narrative. So the tarot gives a face to the pattern. If you think about, if you're used to using tarot, if you've used tarot before, you'll be familiar with the term significator. A significator in tarot is normally one of the court cards, so a page, knight, queen, or king, and that's put on in a spread. It represents the querent or somebody else, so they represent people. Now, the Pythastro system relies on every single card, so all 78 cards in tarot representing a personality. So the tarot gives that face to each of those cards. We have a personality that's created using the structure of numerology, the interpretations from astrology, and then the actual persona, the character from the tarot. So did I get that all out in a sort of way that was clear, concise, or just a bit rambly and nobody's really listening anyway? Anyway, that's basically Pythastro. So on to actually looking at how it works. Now I've bigged it all up now and you're all expecting it to be amazing, and then I hope you're not going to be disappointed here. So what I've done is I've been doing some Pythastro matrices. Now, a Pythastro matrix is very, very long. So as I said, all I've done is I've done the first stages for those that sent me their numbers. Now, if you wanted to work out your numbers while I'm blethering on, this is why I had this on the screen. The way that the two numbers that we need to work out your Pythastro matrix, okay, come from your birth name. That is the name that you were given at birth, or the name that you were given as an adopted name, your first name, not your married name, not your name if you've changed it, your full birth name or full adoption name. And if you'll see on the screen, this is actually it's from Pythagorean numerology, where each letter is assigned a value between 1 and 9, and this gives us the it enables us to assign a whole name a numerical value. Now, you might have seen some numerology systems asking you to add up all the letters and then to reduce by adding the digits. Don't do that. You just add up all the letters. So if I was adding up Claire Smith, I would add up all the letters and it would be whatever it is, 77 or whatever. I wouldn't then reduce that to 14 and then 5. It would be 77. So that's called your birth name value. So that's the first number that we use. And then the second number that we use is comes from your birth date value. So your birth date value, say if your birthday was the 23rd of September 1975, you would add up 2, 3, 0, 9, 1, 9, 7, and 3 as a long line. So 2 plus 3 plus 0 plus 9 plus 1 plus 9 plus 7 plus 5. And that would give you, again, some of them are quite big numbers. Some, I think my daughter's, like, her name one was about 200 or something. So you don't reduce it. Again, you don't reduce it. So what you should end up with, you might want to write these down, is your birth name value, a number, and your birth date value, a number. Okay. What we then use are where the planets are in your astral chart, your birth chart. Okay, this is where it gets complicated because most people know where their sun is. That's your sun sign, or sometimes called your star sign. So when you say what's your star sign, for example, I'm September, I'm a Libran. That's your sun sign, and that's the first thing that we calculate after the soul path. So what do we do with those two numbers then? The first thing that we calculate in PYTHASTRO is called the soul path. Now, if you cast your mind back to when I started blethering on, I was talking about how the soul path is that one energy that stays with you over multiple lifetimes. Yes, Mr. Steve, you include your middle names. Yeah, all your names, just whatever you were christened, not christened necessarily christened, whatever you were given at birth, whatever names you were landed with, whatever you were labeled with first, including your middle names. So what was I saying? I always derail myself, don't I? My brain just can't multi-track either. I just lose my track so easily. Right, so yeah, soul path is the first thing that we calculate. And to calculate the soul path, what we do is we add the birth name value to the birth date value, and that gives us one number. And then we use the system where we count through all the cards of the tarot. Now, the tarot are numbered. You'll know that the major arcana are 0, the Fool, through to 21, excuse me, 21, the World. Well, we don't stop there with PYTHASTRO. We go straight into Pentacles. That becomes, the Ace of Pentacles becomes 22, 2 of Pentacles, 23, 3 of Pentacles, 24, so on and so on and so forth, until you get to the King of Wands, who is number 77. The order is Pentacles, Cups, Swords and Wands, because that's the order in which the you go from the heaviest to the lightest element. So you've got your earth, which is the heaviest, followed by water, then air, then fire, and that's the order that the cards come in, and that's how they're numbered. So, but you don't need to remember all this. I'm just telling you because I like the sound of my own voice. So what we do then, with your number, your birth name value added to your birth date value, we count round those cards. If it's more than 77, more than the King of Wands, we go back to the beginning and we start again. So 78 becomes the Fool again, until we land on the soul path number. And that becomes the energy that is your internal energy. Right. I think what I'll do is I'll start going through the interpretation, because like I'm probably sending everybody to sleep here, because it's all just like, it's difficult to take things in when we're talking about just numbers, isn't it? But that's your soul path. We're going to do soul path, then we're going to do the sun paths, and we're going to do shadow and shine. Just I'll just quickly tell you, the sun paths they literally use the same numbers, so your birth name value and your birth date value, but this time you count around the whatever. Say your sun is in, for example, Deanne's sun is in Pisces, which is, yes it is, isn't it? Yes, sorry, I just got confused looking at my own writing there. Deanne's sun is in Pisces, which means that Pisces is water. So her suit, her PYTHASTRO sun suit would be cups. So then we take her birth name value and we count round the 14, because the ace is the 1, the king is 14. So we go all the way around using the birth name value until we find the first sun path, and then we do the same for the second sun path, and we go all the way around again. It's like, honestly, you'll just have to get the book. And because it, like, you can then read it. It sounds so complicated when I'm trying to explain it. However, because it's my book, I'll be creating a PDF of it, so you don't have to buy it, you can just have it. So look out for that. Obviously, you have to subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel, get a free book. Right, so with all that I've just said, I hope you're still with me. Have we lost any viewers? No, not yet. So That's good. Right, so first of all, we're going to do Deanne's Pythastral matrix. This is the start of your Pythastral matrix, Deanne. I'm going to tell you what you are, and then I'm going to read through the sort of blended interpretation. So, Deanne, your soul path, my dear, is the star, which is such a beautiful card, beautiful energy. I must stop saying card because in Pythastral it's a path. So, Deanne, you are the star. Okay, that is your soul path. So that is the energy that follows you from life to life. And then your sun paths are the Eight of Cups. That's your first sun path. Where has it gone? That's your Eight of Cups. That's your first sun path. And your second sun path is the Six of Cups, which is this card. I don't know why I'm showing you the pictures. I just like pictures. This is the Rider Waite deck. Every time I say Rider Waite deck, I feel like I'm saying Wide Awake Club. Do you remember the Wide Awake Club? All the Gen X people? We're wide awake. Yeah. Right. So, Deanne, what does all this mean? Let's have a look. Now, you'll have to bear with me because I'm literally sort of reading this out, which is a little bit wooden, but there's a lot to remember. So, Deanne, I hope you're listening. Should I put my glasses on? No, I can see it. Okay. So, your soul path is the star, which is called the guiding light. Your sun paths are the Eight of Cups, which is the soulful departed, and the Six of Cups, the gentle rememberer. Your shine card, so where your strength comes from, is the sun. Are you taking notes, Deanne? I can also, I'll send you what I've written as well, if you like, so that you can keep it. So your shine card is the sun, which is that's your strength, the joyful radiator, and your shadow card is strength, the courageous heart. Okay, so the core of your soul, your eternal soul is the star, the guiding light, a personality of hope, serenity, and divine inspiration. At your very deepest level, you're here to radiate healing, to radiate faith and authenticity. Even when life feels heavy, your essence remembers that light always returns after the darkest night. So you're really good at bouncing back from things. You're a natural spiritual beacon, so other people will come to you for advice, and someone who can bring calm and vision to other people, often without effort. So it's like, you know, you're one of those people that animals and children will like because you radiate that sort of calmness. And people feel seen and they feel soothed and uplifted when they're around you. Your shine card, which is the sun's one of the best cards, honestly, it really is. This magnifies all the other energies in your paths. It adds joy, vitality, and radiant energy to your life. And when the star shines with quiet faith, so the star is very spiritual, the sun makes that light unmistakable, so it pours a lot of energy into you, and it reminds you that celebration and joy are part of your medicine. So you're the kind of person that needs laughter and good things as your medicine, like a good laugh and something good happening can heal you. Balance with this, your shadow card, strength, asks you to be mindful of not suppressing your needs in the name of appearing strong. So you could be guilty of, you know, trying to maintain that strength, trying to look strong, never admitting that you're weak, or like you feel like you're not quite sure what's going on or you need help. So that can be a bit of a weakness. Your path is to embody both vulnerability and radiance, allowing them to coexist as part of your guiding essence. So you need to master that balance between those two things. Your first sun path is the Eight of Cups, the soulful departed. The Eight of Cups teaches you about the sacred art of walking away from things. So you are able to walk away. And you probably have had to walk away from things in your life as well. This path brings you repeated lessons around leaving what no longer serves you, whether it's a career, a community, a relationship, friends, things like this. For you, endings aren't about abandonments, okay? They're about aligning with your true purpose. They're about becoming better. So when you leave, it's not like goodbye and oh, that's really sad. It's like you're moving on to better things and you're able to do that. It's something that you'll probably find you have to do a lot because it is part of your soul path, and that becomes part of a lesson in your life. Um, the energy of that makes you very, very discerning about who to stay with and who to leave behind. Okay, you know when there's when the emotional or spiritual well has run dry, and you've got the courage to move towards truth, even when that means stepping into the unknown. So you will literally walk away from somebody even if you're not sure where you're going, because you know when the end's the end. With the star as your soul's anchor, these endings are softened by hope and faith. So it's like you're not harsh about it. The sun also strengthens your courage to walk forward with joy, turning what could feel like loss into liberation. Strength in shadow. So the strength card is your shadow. And that can tempt you to sort of carry on for too long, to sort of put up with things for too long. You hold the burdens, so you try to be strong, you try to hold it all in, and you are resilient, but you also like to appear resilient. And it's like your lesson is to trust that leaving can be an act of love for yourself and also for others. Your second sun path is the Six of Cups, and that's the gentle rememberer. Balancing the eight's departure energy, the Six of Cups is the card of memory, kindness, and emotional authenticity. It's about nostalgia, the Six of Cups. It's a beautiful card. This sun path roots you in nostalgia, deep affection, and the ability to treasure bonds over time. And I think that's beautiful, that ability to look back at things and to see them in a beautiful light, and to see them more clearly the more distance you have from them, and to look back. Don't look back in anger. Who said that? But it's like you have that ability to, time heals. I think that's what I'm trying to say. You heal over time. You carry memory like a sacred thread, and often bring comfort by reconnecting others with their innocence, their inner child, or their cherished past. So you'll remind people of who they are and where they've come from. Which is a really, really lovely quality. The star keeps you aligned with the future. Always remember, the star, your soul path, has got an influence over every single of your other paths. So we're talking sun paths, but it keeps bringing the star in because the star is your soul path. That's you inside. So blah, 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 blah. The star keeps you aligned with the future, even as you honor the past, because of the Six of Cups, while the sun reminds you to bring joy and playfulness into these memories. So you're really happy, or you can be a real happy-go-lucky, joyful celebrant, I guess is the word that I'm looking for. Your challenge comes from strength when it's in shadow, which causes you to hold on tightly to the weight of, turning the page, one moment please, the weight. Okay, it causes you to hold on too tightly to the weight of the past, or to feel responsible for protecting other people's happiness. Your gift is to cherish memory without being confined by it. Okay, so how your soul path shapes your journey. Your star essence softens and elevates the tension between your sun paths. The Eight of Cups departures can feel heavy, because when you have to walk away, it can start to feel heavy, yeah? But the star transforms that into an act of faith. It proves to you that walking away is the best thing, and it gives you the strength to do it. Endings are doorways into the new light that's illuminated by your star path. The Six of Cups, nostalgia could anchor you in the past, but that star keeps you aligned. Remember, we always say following the star. So with that Six of Cups behind you and the star keeping you aligned with the future, it reminds you that healing flows forward, not backwards. Yeah, and you always seem to, that healing for you is in joy with the sun and in following your star. Your shine card, the sun, which is like the best shine card you could possibly have, ensures that these transitions are infused with joy and optimism, helping you radiate confidence and light through times of change. Meanwhile, your shadow card, strength, also asks you to be aware of over responsibility or self-suppression during these moments. So don't take on too much, I think this is saying. Together, these cards, these paths teach you to honor what has been, release what must end, and inspire others to believe in what can still come. So moving on to your gifts. You are a natural healer and a visionary who gives hope without forcing it. So you will be a source of hope for people and inspiration without sort of forcing those beliefs onto someone. You have the courage to leave what no longer serves you and what no longer nourishes you. Even when it hurts you, you're able to walk away. You have the ability to treasure memory and past connections without losing your forward gaze and momentum. You're an inspiring presence who shows others that both endings and beginnings are sacred parts of your journey. And that's a really, really amazing gift, because so many of us, I'm terrible, I can't say goodbye to things or people. I can't even chuck like teddies and stuff out, because if anything that's got a face, I can't put in the bin. So Ruby, my daughter, has to like sneak around just chucking things out that I no longer need. I mean, I'm not like a hoarder or anything, but you know, I do stress about it. Sorry, it's not a me train. Sorry, Deanne. Right. Da, 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 da. With your shine card, the sun, your gifts are amplified with warmth, vitality, and confidence. You are not only the source of quiet inspiration, but also a radiant beacon of joy. Isn't that lovely? Your optimism, creativity, and light-hearted energy uplift those around you, making your presence a reminder of life's beauty and possibility. So you're the person who brings the fun and the happiness. So what are your challenges? Your challenges with these cards, the Eight of Cups can make you seem distant or self-contained at times, and some people can understand your departures. So when you disengage and walk away, whether that's physically or whether it's metaphorically and mentally, you just turn away. Some people might think that's a bit cold, or like can't understand how you can just do that. The Six of Cups can tempt you to idealize, sorry, the past, causing you to hesitate when change is calling. So sometimes you do have those rose tinted glasses on when you're looking back at the past, because your connection to past events is beautiful and it's really poignant to you. So you can be tempted to perhaps sort of linger, looking backwards at things that have happened. Your star essence may in shadow cause you to bypass pain with idealism to avoid confrontation. So you can be the kind who will literally just look at the bigger picture and perhaps just let people get away with stuff rather than confronting them, because you are following the star, you're the inspiration. You don't want to get bogged down in the fighting sort of thing. Your shadow card strength suggests you may struggle with other responsibility and self-suppression. So again, it's that taking on too much, accepting too much responsibility, blaming yourself for things, and carrying too much burden. Carrying burdens for other people as well, you know, like letting them get away with stuff, and silencing your own needs in order to appear strong or to carry those emotional burdens. So sometimes that can be at the cost of your own well-being. Your growth lies in finding the balance between holding hope and staying grounded, between remembering the past and embracing the present, between walking away with grace and staying rooted when love is real. By acknowledging the shadow of strength, it sounds strange, doesn't it? The shadow of strength. It's because strength is your shadow card. So your weaknesses are the negative sides of the strength card. By acknowledging the shadow of strength, you learn that true courage is not about constant endurance, but about embracing your own vulnerability with compassion. So some guidance for you to finish. Your path is one of luminous authenticity. I do like that. Your star soul ensures that you're leaving, so your Eight of Cups and you're remembering your Six of Cups are not contradictions, but part of a larger harmony, sort of a constant interplay. You are here to embody the truth that hope is not fragile, it's resilient, and it carries you through both endings and beginnings. Each time you honour your need for soulful departure, do so with love, not avoidance. So when you leave, don't avoid, do it with love. You always make sure that you're doing it because you're moving to a better place. Each time you honour your memories, let them inspire your present rather than hold you back and tie you to the past. When you integrate these two things, your guiding light, your star, will shine the brightest, and it reminds others that healing is not only possible, it is inevitable when you live with your two paths together, and balance the two. The sun reminds you to embrace joy and radiant expression as part of your medicine. So your medicine, your healing, is about laughter and happiness, while strength in shadow asks you to release the habit of carrying too much or silencing your needs in order to make other people happy. Together, those influences ensure that your journey is not only one of hope, but also of joy, balance, and authentic strength. So, Deanne, that's you. Hope you enjoyed that. It was awesome to work that out for you. And as I said, that's just your sun. That we can go further. You have, as well as the sun, you've got the moon, rising, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Uranus, Mercury, Neptune, or Saturn. So there's a lot. There's a lot. But that was the first. That was the first. The basics, basically. The basics, basically. So is Deanne still there, or has she gone to sleep? I was like droning on a little bit. I could hear my own voice. I'm thinking, stop rabbiting on. Okay, so that's Deanne. Right. KLG, you're up next. Let me just have a... Oh, I can't scroll up the chat, can I? I'm not very good at it. You would think, wouldn't you, that you would be able to, like, literally scroll up something without it causing a lot of problems. Oh, just no. No, there's been that much said that I can't keep up with everything. Right, I'll just look out for any comments. Right. I hope you like that, Deanne. You're there, KLG. I see you. I see you. Right. Now, I've clicked somewhere and it's doing stupid things. Click up here. Just, honestly, why? Why does that even happen? Just bear with me while I try and... That's it, right? Got it. Right, okay, KLG, you're up next. Okay. Right. As I said, Deanne, I have got that printed out, so I can send you that. I'll just email it to you. That's for you to keep. Right, KLG. So again, I have worked with your birth name value. So your full birth name and your birth date value. So the digits of your birth date added up. And then we add them all together. And that comes to 121 is your total number. Total number, your core number, I call it. So what does that mean? So for you, your soul path, you have a soul path of the Eight of Cups, which is really interesting because we've just been talking about the Eight of Cups. So your actual soul path persona, KLG, is the Eight of Cups. Okay. Your shine card, you might find as well. Where has my major arcana cards gone? I put them. Oh, they're over here, all in a pile. Okay, you might find, I find this, or I've found this since I started working with this system. Like, I've got like 6 of Swords jeweled in a lot of my paths, and I keep like that card just pops up everywhere. The image pops up everywhere. So it's like you might find that when you know what your paths are, they will pop up for you as well. They will come to you. So look out for KLG, look out for your Eight of Cups. You have got as your shine card, really good one. You've got the Hermit as your shine card. So the energy, the positive energy of the Hermit is adding strength to your Pythastro matrix. To all the aspects in your Pythastro are heightened by the positive energy of the Hermit, and your shadow energy, your shadow Pythastro energy is the Fool. So the negative or less positive, let's not call them negative, let's call them not as positive. Oh, thank you, Deanne, you didn't have to do that, man. Your not as positive aspects are the Fool. The Fool casts his shadow over your sort of other aspects. So they all, it's like when you sort of work it out, it's all like a big pattern, all interlinked, and how things interact. And your shine and shadow, even though they're not paths, they are sort of like casting a shadow or shining. So anything that's good in a card or path will be emphasized by the shine aspect, and anything that's negative will be more put more in shadow, if you see what I mean. So that's how they work in sort of blended with the other paths, so we say. So KLG, your soul path is the Eight of Cups, which is all about that leaving. Shine, the Hermit, shadow, the Fool. Your sun paths, your first, your birth name path is the Queen of Swords, and your birth date path is the Eight of Swords. So what does that mean? So let's have a look. Right, again, I apologize that I'm sort of reading a lot of this verbatim. It's literally because I can't remember it all. And I would just miss loads of stuff out if I tried to just rabbit on about it. And we'd be here for hours. Right, okay, so soul path, Eight of Cups, the soulful departed. Sun path, Queen of Swords, the discerning truth teller. Eight of Swords is the inner prisoner. Your shine card, the Hermit, is the inner sage. Your shadow card, the Fool, is the innocent adventurer. So the core of your soul. So remember, your soul path is the energy that you carry from life to life. All right. So this has a massive influence over all the other paths, and it can also designate whether you experience the positive aspects of certain paths or the negative aspects. Because if your soul path is in conflict with your sun path, for example, say your sun path was the Three of Cups, which is all about joy, but it was in conflict with your soul path, you might struggle to find joy because it sort of conflicts that aspect, if you see what I mean. Right, so the core of your soul, KLG. At your deepest level, you are the soulful departed of the Eight of Cups. Your soul's calling is to walk away from what no longer nourishes you and to seek deeper truths. And like, you can walk away from things, as I said to Deanne, even when they hurt you, you can cut people and things out, yeah? And you will walk away, even though sometimes others don't understand how you can do that. You're a pilgrim of the heart, and you constantly move to what feels like the truth. So you're constantly looking to feel more aligned, to feel whole. It constantly feels like you're struggling to find part of yourself that you're not quite sure where it is. You don't feel whole. You're constantly feeling that you are moving away from stuff to find that other half of yourself. Okay, your journey is one of emotional honesty and the courage to say, this is not enough for me anymore. So it's your soul mission to be able to say, this isn't for me anymore, this is not enough for me anymore, I've got to find something better, or that's not good enough, I'm going to find something better. This is your hermit shine. So the strengths from your hermit show that solitude, reflection, and spiritual wisdom are your greatest gifts. So you're able to go within yourself and to work things out. And that really works well with your Eight of Cups as well, because it's like, when you walk away from somebody or something, you don't do it lightly. You will have soul searched it, and that's your hermit influence there. Is like you're being able to go within yourself and ascertain that knowledge, to find that deeper wisdom to help you when you decide whether somebody goes or somebody stays, whether to do something or whether to not do something. Okay. You carry the lantern, the hermit's lantern, of clarity into your own heart and the hearts of others. So you're always looking for the true path. You don't like lies, you don't like dishonesty, and you don't like people who are fake or frauds, yeah? And you can sniff them out. You're one of those people, like my daughter does this as well. She can just read character, like literally she'll meet somebody, talk to them and go, nah, I don't like him. Or yeah, she's really nice. And she's like literally nearly always right. So, yet your Fool shadow might tug you towards impulsiveness, distraction, and things like this. So you can easily get distracted by things, and you can sometimes be a little bit impulsive and jump into things. And this is not about the leaving things, because you will carefully consider if you're walking away from something or leaving something, but you can be distracted and you can be impulsive about other things. Like you might suddenly change tact, or you might suddenly just decide to do something completely differently, or to take up something new, or to do something unusual. And people are like, well, I didn't expect you to do that. Why did you do that? That's not like you. And it's like, well, this is actually how I am, and you just haven't seen it. So you sort of, people can be surprised by you when you suddenly change direction and decide to do something else. And that is that Fool energy within you. It's constantly like that little wanting to leap without looking. It's that little bit of a thrill of doing something without really knowing the consequences. Or it's like you do get that urge to just, you know, why don't we just stop doing this? Or why don't we do this instead? Or why don't we change things up completely? And that's, again, that's that youthful, inspiring sort of fool energy, which always goes, go on, just do it. Just try it. Go on, just do it. It's like, it can be a blessing and a curse, that fool energy, because, you know, it's great when it works out, but if it's sort of if you're like, oh, I'll just try this, and then it goes horribly wrong, you're like, why didn't I just think more carefully about that? So what you need to find is the balance. So the balance between retreating, being the hermit, and being a little bit more reckless, the fool, is that balance that you constantly probably swing between. And it can become tiring when you've got two such conflicting energies, which is the hermit and the fool. I mean, the hermit wants to stay within and the fool wants to jump around and have a party. So it's like those two sort of, they're two, what do you call it? Is it a dichotomy or something like that? I forget what the word is. But it's like two halves. They're two, is it paradox? I forget. But it's two opposite things, two polar opposites, like fighting against each other. There's conflict between those. I mean, the great thing is that it'll stop you from being bored, because perhaps you wake up as a different person. So on many days, you might just like go to bed thinking one thing and then just wake up feeling completely reckless and do something completely different. So at least it keeps things interesting. Um, but finding the balance will make you feel calmer. So your first sun path, the Queen of Swords, the discerning truth teller. This path brings discernment. This is what I mean by the fact that you can literally sniff out a fraud, sniff out somebody who is not being honest with you, or is sort of not who they say they are. You know, you're not taken in by people. It also means you can cut through illusions. So when other people are taken in, you can normally go, hang on a minute, that's not right, you know, that's an utter scam, or that's rubbish. Or so you're one of the people who's like pretty grounded when it comes to sniffing out things that aren't correct. You're sharp-eyed and perceptive, and you're able to see what others avoid. So it's not just that you can see what's not correct, but you actually, some people don't want to see, do they? They just like turn a blind eye, or I don't want to look because I've got a feeling it's not right. Well, you'll actually look, and then you will speak it, because the Queen of Swords speaks her truth. She doesn't hold back. Yeah, she, unless she's upside down, unless she's conflicted, the Queen of Swords in your case isn't, and she's gonna like say it as it is, right? If she doesn't like you, she's gonna tell you. If she doesn't like you, you'll be able to see it on her face and probably hear it coming out of her mouth, because she's gonna say it. um where am I? Okay, so with the Eight of Cups is your anchor. Your discernment is not cold, but it's soulful. You're here to speak your truth with clarity and to set boundaries. You're good at setting boundaries, but you don't do it coldly. Like, you don't just cut people out and just walk away for the sake of it. Okay, you do it in a way that has integrity. Okay, you don't cut ties for power, but you do it for authenticity. So you're not one that's taken in by fame, money, power. Like, you're not like sort of impressed by people. Yeah. The Hermit in Shine gives you the ability to reflect deeply before you speak, making your words even more potent. But the Fool in Shadow can bring sharpness without grounding, tempting you to speak prematurely or walk away too quickly. So if there's a piece of shadow there, it's like you can sometimes be a bit sharp-tongued, and that's especially the case with the Queen of Swords, because the Queen of Swords can really be quite sharp. You are here to marry wisdom with compassion, so that your clarity heals rather than isolates. So you are literally somebody that people will talk to, somebody that you're going to give them an honest opinion. You're going to give them clarity, even if that clarity is harsh for them to hear. You're going to deliver that truth to them, and I think people appreciate that. Your second sun path is the Eight of Swords. So this is the inner prisoner. Now, the Eight of Swords reflects the parts of you that sometimes feel trapped by fear, doubt, or self-criticism. So remember, when we do the daily readings, the Eight of Swords is the woman with the blindfold on in the prison of swords. It's the prison of her own making. She's confined herself with self-limiting beliefs. You may hesitate when you already hold the key to your freedom. So you literally hold yourself back. This path shows you that you're here to learn liberation, not just from external limits, but from your own inner stories. So those self-beliefs that we all hold, yours can be quite self-limiting, like you don't believe in yourself enough, and that's created a prison for you, so you've held yourself back. The Eight of Cups soul in you knows how to walk away from false paths, but this sun path shows where you may feel paralyzed as well. So you can walk away from situations, but you can never walk away from yourself. What you have to do in your own mind is to change your mindset in order to free yourself from that Eight of Swords prison. The Hermit shine can help you with that because it brings wisdom into those moments, reminding you to pause and look inward for guidance. So you need to, oh, thank you, cats. Thank you. So your inner strength will help you change that mindset. It's about you having to turn your mind around. Nobody's going to change that strong mind for you, KLG, but you with the Hermit in shine can go inward to learn more about yourself, and that would be something that you be really beneficial to you, is learning more about yourself, like studying yourself and your motivations. The Fool in shadow, however, can tempt you to deny your fears. So while we're saying all this, the Fool in shadow within you might be saying, yeah, that's just rubbish, just you're fine, you don't need to, you're not in a prison, you haven't got self-limiting beliefs. So it sort of talks you out of it. You've got these two voices, and that Fool's going to go, no, everything's okay, don't worry about it, we'll just do something new tomorrow. Perhaps sometimes that Fool, although it can be exciting, needs to shut up, because it's telling you just to deny the things that you need to change, and those things could be those self-limiting beliefs, lack of self-confidence, lack of belief in yourself and your abilities. Yeah, your task is to gently remove your blindfold. Remember we said the blindfold for the woman in the Eight of Swords prison. Trust your inner knowing. Walk yourself free with awareness. So walk out of that prison. How your soul path shapes your journey. So your soul path of the Eight of Cups guides you through life as a seeker of truth. So you are constantly looking for the truth, constantly looking for clarity. You're a digger for the truth as well. You will go out and look for it, and you're not going to take sort of no for an answer. You'd be an excellent researcher. Both your sun paths, the Queen of Swords and the Eight of Swords, reflect the mental realm, showing that clarity, perception, and the challenges of fear are central to your growth. So you're very much focused on the intellect, on speech, on communication, on working things out mentally. So you are good with sort of logical thought, thinking things through to get things done. The Queen of Swords helps you speak the truth, and the Eight shows where fear can silence it. So you always feel like you can speak your truth, and when you feel that, like, don't say that, just you've got no place to say that, that's your Eight of Swords, that prison sort of bubbling up to the surface. So your gifts are the courage to walk away from what no longer serves your heart, and that's Eight of Cups all over. Your discerning mind and clear voice that cuts through illusion, that's your Queen of Swords. So this is somebody who speaks their mind, but doesn't do it in a cold and cutting way. Deep wisdom, this is another one of your gifts. From solitude and reflection, thanks to your Hermit shine, you would be great at meditation is a practice you should look at, or trance mediumship. That's a really good hermit skill. The ability to guide others to recognize their own blindfolds and unlock their freedom. So I think as the Queen, you are a natural leader, and you can help other people release themselves from the prisons that they make. And you'll do that naturally because you'll present them with the truth. And they won't be able to deny it, because it'll be obvious, because your mercurial air mind will have like laid it all out for them. This is what it looks like, this is what you've done, and they'll go, oh yeah, I had self-limiting beliefs, I'll walk away from that. But actually, why don't you turn that sharp gaze upon yourself and realize that you have limited yourself by locking yourself in a prison, because you should have more confidence in yourself. You have a natural alignment with truth, authenticity, and inner clarity. So your integrity is important to you. Your challenges. So obviously, the Eight of Swords can trap you in fear or self-doubt, even when that path forward is open. So don't listen to that Eight of Swords, like inner voice telling you that you're not good enough. Queen of Swords can slip into coldness or mistrust if you feel betrayed. Now, we're talking about the Queen of Swords speaks her mind, yeah, but she's like fair but harsh. She can be harsh but fair. But she's not cold. But when she can turn quite cold is if you feel like you've been betrayed. And I don't know if that's coming out as a challenge, because it's better than just like letting it go, isn't it? When somebody's betrayed you and you go, oh, it's perfectly all right, don't worry about me. Oh, that was terrible. It's better to actually slip into coldness. But now, nonetheless, I've identified it as a challenge. The Eight of Cups can also pull you into leaving before fully integrating lessons. So there can be a tendency that if things are really going wrong, just going, okay, right, I'm done with this. Maybe sometimes you need to stick around a little bit longer in a situation to really learn, to really accumulate the wisdom, the lesson that you're being shown in that situation. And the Fool in shadow can tempt you into that impulsivity. Avoidance of stuff as well can be an issue. That Fool shadow can lead you to avoid the things that you don't want to do, or the jobs that you don't want to do, or the tasks or confrontations you don't want to have. So avoidance. Your task is to slow down, honor your wisdom, and let the Hermit steady you before the Fool pulls you astray. Actually, I think the Hermit and the Fool must be quite an exciting duo to live with. Right, guidance for you. You are a seeker, a truth teller, and a soul walker. Trust the pull to move toward depth, but let wisdom, not restlessness, be your guide. When you feel trapped, pause. Ask yourself if the prison is real or if it's woven from your old fears. So is the limitation that you're currently feeling, is that part of today, or is it learned behavior from the past? Are you going back to cycles that you've experienced in the past, and that's holding you back? When you feel the urge to walk away, ask if you are going on a pilgrimage, if you're leaving for love, or if you're just like off skiing, escaping. All right. If you're escaping, is it possible that you could stick around a little bit longer just to learn the lesson that you're supposed to learn from that situation? Your Hermit shine shows that your deepest strength lies in reflection and spiritual clarity. Your Fool shadow reminds you that freedom without wisdom can become folly. When you integrate both, you become a living example of soulful discernment. So again, it's you finding that balance. Now, they're quite extreme, the Fool and the Hermit, so the balance will be tricky to find. You might find yourself swinging between those two energies. But it would be truly Zen-like if you could find a balance there. And that would, how that would look would be someone who knows when to step away, when to speak, and when to trust in silence. Okay. Oh, and that's you. Is that it? Yes, that's you. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed that. Hi, Brittany. How you doing? Brittany, you didn't send me your you sent me your birth name value and birth date value. You didn't send me your sun sign on the YouTube post, and I would have needed that. If you can send me your sun sign, I can do a little bit, but haven't been able to do the full matrix for you because I needed your sun sign. Right, so we are going to do Cheyenne next. Right, Cheyenne, let's go. That was the first part of Brittany's. I'm pleased you liked it, KLD. I'm pleased you liked it. Right, Cheyenne. Okay, so same stuff. Cheyenne sent me her birth name value, calculated as per the letters on the screen. Birth date value, which is a sequential sum of the digits of the birth date and the sun sign. And Cheyenne is a Leo, which is fire. Fiery lady. So, using the PYTHASTRO system, your soul path is judgment, Cheyenne. Judgment. And that's an earth element, judgment. So your shine, now this is interesting, Cheyenne, this is really interesting. you have got for shine and shadow, both of them are the devil. So that is really unique and really intense. Okay, so it's like it's fireworks basically, in a good way, I would say. Like, but you must be like a tornado in intensity, because that's like one strong energy to have as a shine and a shadow. So you've got two devils there, a shiny devil and a shadowy devil. Um, your sun paths, your first sun path, your birth name, um, is the Five of Wands, and your birth date path is the 11 of Wands, which is the Page, um, which is fire. So let's have a look. What did we find out about Cheyenne? Okay, so remember what I'm going through now is like a blended interpretation that's blended from the soul path. Remember, your soul path is like the energy that stays with you through multiple lifetimes. Your sun paths are where the sun was at your particular moment of birth in this incarnation. Pythastro, your soul path is eternal. Your incarnates, your sun, your moon, your rising, Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, all that carry on. Those are incarnates. So those are relevant to one lifetime, to this lifetime. And your shine and shadow cast their shine or shadow over all the paths. Okay. Your soul path has the most influence, I would say, and then the sun, and then you've got the moon and rising, and then below that Venus and Mars, and then all the outer planets are less influential. But your soul path colors the rest of the cards, as does your sun path. Now sometimes you'll find, I think I've already said this, but I don't mind repeating myself, that if your soul path is in conflict, if the element of your soul path is in conflict with the element of your sun path, you'll tend to find that where the sun path might be experienced in conflict, so that you know, you might think, but that doesn't sound anything like me. It's because those things, those qualities have become struggles. Okay, but nobody that I've actually done readings for has got a conflict between their soul and their sun. You've all had a challenge between your soul and your sun, which is you can either have challenged, conflicted, or compatible. So if it's compatible, it's like, woo, that really heightens it. If it's conflicted, then that's where you get the issues. Challenged is just like normal, so there's no real adjustment to it. So Cheyenne, let us have a look. What have we got here? Okay, so your soul path, that stays with you throughout multiple lives, is judgment, the awakened soul. Sun paths, Five of Wands, the spirited challenger, Page of Wands, the enthusiastic initiate. Your shine card is the devil, the shadow dweller, and as is your shadow card, the devil, the shadow dweller. Right, so that's such an interesting aspect. The core of your soul, your eternal soul, is judgment. That's the awakened soul. It's a personality of transformation, reckoning, and renewal. So what you'll find across your lifetimes is that you're constantly reinventing yourself, basically, and you have that ability to reinvent yourself, and you also have a drive to reinvent yourself. It's like if you had to stay being the same incarnation of yourself for too long, you would get bored by yourself and want to change. Okay, you need that change. You want to keep moving. On a sort of personality level, you like to shake things up, you like to change, you like to grow. And actually being that Page of Wands, the enthusiastic initiate, it's learning as well. It's like learning new things, like knowledge and learning stuff, like especially spiritual stuff, like floats your boat hugely. Okay, and that means that you're constantly developing, you're constantly changing yourself, you're constantly improving yourself, particularly on a spiritual level, learning new spiritual gifts. At your deepest level, you are here to awaken not only yourself but others to deeper truth. So that gift of renewal and that gift of spiritual learning, although you enjoy doing it, you would be really good at sort of imparting that to other people. I get from these paths, you come out as being somebody who could teach, somebody who could be a leader of spiritual sort of pursuits or teaching or imparting creative lessons to other people, teaching people, training people how to do things. Your life is holding that pattern of rebirth, of the dying of the old self and the rising to something greater. So you shed your skins as you go along. You constantly change, constantly. You can be a chameleon as well, so you can fit into a lot of places, and you'll just reinvent yourself, and the old you will just be left behind as you move to the new you. And the great thing is, you're usually creating a better life and a better purpose for yourself. You're called to purpose, so you don't like to drift sort of aimlessly. You like to have a goal, you like to have a purpose, and it needs to be clear, so you're driven by clarity, and you like authentic alignment, so you like to know that the people who are on the journey with you are like with you and not against you, and they're actually true friends and true partners, people that you want around you. You need people to be aligned with you, and you know, when people sort of brush you up the wrong way, or they don't fit with you, your current incarnation, they'll become part of the past. And that's a good, very good skill, because it means that you're not like sort of dragged down by energies that no longer serve you. Your shine and shadow are one of the same. The devil in the light. This brings you extraordinary depth, honesty, and transformation, powers of transformation. So the devil is magic, because he's the devil, and he can change things and shake things up. It also brings you massive courage to walk into adversity, resilience, that ability to stand up to people, to stand up to bullies, to stand up for people who are being bullied. You're not afraid to walk into the shadow and confront what other people might want to avoid, because that devil in shine and shadow gives you that intensity. Whereas, you know, you would be the one, if we were like in a die-hard building and it was invaded by nasty people with bombs, and I'd be looking out for you, because you would be the kick-ass person who would sort it out. Okay, so you've got immense strength in that respect. In shadow, the same energy can pull you towards obsessive behaviors, power struggles, or self-suppression. So you can become really, really, really obsessive about certain things, you know, to the point of, you know, being quite sort of narrow-minded about them, or mono-focused about getting somewhere. The thing when you get a jewel, we've got a jewel here, what we call a jewel, the two devils, is that when you've got two cards interacting with each other, you've got like, think of it like, you know, like genetics. You get mum and dad, and then you get the child that's got the best of both worlds and the worst of both worlds, but they've got that genetic mix. If you get inbreeding, where you've got mum and dad and their brother and sister, and you get the baby that's like not quite right, because there's been, the genetics are too similar. It's a similar thing when you've got a jewel, with two paths exactly the same. It can bring an enormous gift because it amplifies that energy, but it also means that you can become inflexible, and it can be quite overpowering, the energy, and you haven't got the nuance of another energy to give you a different viewpoint. So sometimes you can struggle to see a different viewpoint, or to see things from another sort of avenue, you know, not somebody else's point of view. I mean, you know, you think, right, that's the way to do it, that's what I'm going to do, and then almost like it could be quite difficult to see it from a different perspective, because you've got that dual power and dual shine and shadow going on. So your challenge and your gift, so your strength and your weakness, are inseparable, and you're here to master it, not deny it. Yeah, so that is at your core, and you learn to work with it. So you master the whole thing, isn't it? About the whole thing with Pythastro is about self-discovery and working on the great things, and then identifying where the challenges are. Forewarned is forearmed, and then working with them. Yeah, so moving on, your first sun path, the Five of Wands, is the spirited challenger. The Five of Wands brings you the fiery energy of constructive conflict and growth through challenge. So you're not afraid to rock the apple cart and you're not afraid to disrupt stagnation. Life often calls you into situations where competition, friction, or debate stirs change. So you are sometimes called upon to into situations where change is needed and you don't mind shaking things up. You thrive when you're pushing beyond the surface, asking, is this the best that we can do? So you're quite a hard taskmaster on yourself and on other people. So you'll be like, okay, this is good. Is it as good as we can do, or can we do better? So, you can like quite good at you saying quite good at perfectionism. It's got its pluses and its negatives, hasn't it? Because it can end up wearing you out if you're not careful. So, you've got that drive to make things better and better and better, but give yourself a break sometimes as well. Yeah. um with judgment as your sole anchor, your challenges are never petty. So you see things as, you never look, you don't get involved in petty stuff. Things that are important to you, and those petty things, you just walk past them, because you've got judgment as that soul path, which is all about, think about, when you think judgment card, think about, that big liberty person with the scales, like, I shall weigh up the goodness and badness in you, that's on the courts of law and stuff like that. So it's quite a serious pursuit, and it's not sort of just messing around. It's somebody with a lot of power. You've got this calling to the higher truth as well, so you won't suffer like lies, and you won't suffer dishonesty or people being deceived. You'll sniff it out and you'll expose it because of your soul path judgment. Your devil shine gives you the courage to stand in intensity and power, making you magnetic in moments of confrontation. So you'll find that people radiate to you when there is a confrontation, like our die hard situation, like me saying I would go and find you. Lots of people would probably do that because of that devil shine, because it's like you will come across as somebody who will be able to take control and sort things out, and help everybody. But the devil's shadow warns of slipping into combative energy, fighting for control rather than transformation. So you can be confrontational when required, but also you're good at it, and so you can radiate towards it sometimes. So it's important to like not let that devil get out of control and consume you with the need to confront and to sort everybody's problems out for them, because some people just have to be left to wallow in the mess that they've made for themselves, and they can just sort it out for themselves. The second sun path is a page of wands, the enthusiastic initiate. To me, straight away, that talks about your spiritual learning and your drive to learn new things spiritually in particular. It offers a youthful fire, energy, and eagerness to explore as well. So you might have a travel lust, even if you don't actually travel, just that really wanting to go somewhere else, really wanting to experience other things, that sort of itchy feet. Is that the right terminology? When you constantly think, I'm going to do something different, or I'm going to try this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to go somewhere new, I'm going to just throw it all out the window and start again. Exploration, if we were talking Jungian archetypes, you'd be the explorer, somebody who wants to try new things, wants to go new places, wants to try and eat octopus or whatever it is. Don't try and eat octopus, poor octopuses. Octopuses, octopies, octopussies. Right, distracted myself. So the page of wands, the enthusiastic initiate, fills you with inspiration, hunger for adventure, readiness to begin new journeys and adventures all the time. You're here to experiment. You're a great experimenter, great at trying new things, very, very intense, very enthusiastic. Allow your enthusiasm to help others learn as well, because you've got this gift, you've got this enthusiastic initiate, this ability to teach, this ability to impart knowledge and enthusiasm. With judgment's higher calling behind you, these explorations are rarely frivolous. They are steps on your awakened path. The devil in shine amplifies your creativity and passion, so you can be very passionate and very creative. And you've got very, very bold, expressive tendencies. So you can express yourself very boldly, but also in shadow, you could be tempted into recklessness, again, impulsivity, or entanglements that drain your light. So you might get involved in darker things, or trying to help people who are just going to drag you down a little bit, or sort of turning to the dark side a little bit, that devil in you sort of getting involved in things that are just a little bit exciting but sort of blow up in your face a little bit. Your task is to channel the fiery curiosity that you feel into conscious purpose and not distraction. How your soul path shapes your journey. Your awakened soul mediates the fiery duality of your sun path. So the Five of Wands brings tension and growth through challenge, and the Page of Wands brings playful exploration and fresh beginnings. Without judgment's guidance, you could be scattered between conflict and novelty. So judgment is a really strong anchor for you, because those the Five of Wands and the Page of Wands are sort of energy, and they're scattered. Fives are changes, and your two devils there. It's like you're pushed between pillar and post, but that judgment's going to keep you grounded, because judgment's quite serious, and you know, makes you understand the consequences of things, I would say. So with judgment behind you, those energies that could be scattered become sacred tools and challenges that awaken truths and new beginnings that breathe life into your calling. So you constantly need that change in order to feel new life all the time. The devil, as both shine and shadow, intensifies every path that you have. It grants you a magnetic presence, the ability to see and transmute hidden dynamics, and the power to embrace life in all its rawness. Yet it also insists that you face your own patterns, compulsions, and desires with honesty. Your journey is one of alchemy, turning fire into light, shadow into wisdom. So this is with the two devils there, you could have some serious psychic gifts going on there. You really could. So your gifts, psychic gifts, a soul that rises from trial with renewed clarity and purpose. So everything that people throw at you, it's like, oh, that's saying this was made for you. It's like you throw me to the wolves and I will come back leading the pack. You should have a t-shirt or at least a mug with that written on it, okay? Because that would be you. A soul that rises from trial and renewed clarity, and with renewed clarity and purpose. You throw me to the wolves. If you throw me to the wolves, I will come back leading the pack. That's you. The courage to engage challenge rather than avoid it. So that's your gift. You engage challenges. You don't avoid them. You have an enthusiastic curiosity that inspires others to begin their own journeys. Yeah, a natural ability to hold intensity and guide others through it. With your shine devil, you carry profound transformative strength. You bring truth from the depths, help others face shadow without fear, and use raw honesty as a tool of liberation. Right, your challenges. The Five of Wands can tempt you into unnecessary conflicts and can make you seem combative when you're simply seeking the truth. So some people might think you're a bit argumentative, or like they can be like, whoa, when you're actually just trying to sort of get things sort of sorted out for them. The Page of Wands can scatter your energy across too many pursuits without grounding. So your Page of Wands energy can be a little bit head in the clouds. Judgment in shadow might lead you to feel to be a little bit harsh, or to judge people, like be a bit judgmental with people if they aren't sort of spiritually awakened. So I'm like this. I can't stand people that are really narrow-minded and they're like, no, that can't be right because science hasn't explained it yet. It's like, oh, keep up, go and read some quantum. So that sort of thing. The devil in shadow also warns of entanglement and unhealthy patterns, so obsessions, suppression of your own needs, addictive behaviors and things like that can potentially cause a problem if they're not kept in check. Your growth lies in discerning when challenge is purposeful, and when curiosity is sacred, and when it's escapism. By owning your shadow, you transform it into strength. So guidance for you, your path is one of sacred confrontation, not to destroy, but to awaken. So you're here to awaken people, Cheyenne. You are here to embody transformation, to show that rebirth is possible, not once, but many times throughout a lifetime. When you enter conflict, remember, it's not about victory, but growth. When you explore new beginnings, let them align with your deeper calling, I should say. When your shadow stirs, see it not as an enemy, but as a messenger, okay? So your shadow really is your gift, yeah. um the devil in shine and shadow makes your journey more intense than most people's, for sure, but also more profound. So you could uncover some spiritual truths that are like earth shattering. Yeah, you're here to prove that even in the darkest places, liberation is possible. Your life is a living example of awakening through fire. So remember that. If you throw me to the wolves, I will come back leading the pack, because that is you. Right, there we go, Cheyenne, that was you. That's the 3 done that I had. Now, I don't know if Brittany has come back at all, because I saw she was there before, but I can't scroll up because I'm stupid and I don't know how to use my computer properly. In fact, no, it's not that. It just doesn't seem to work. There used to be a little scroll bar on the side of my chat thing here, but there's not now, and I can't scroll up. So I'm pleased you enjoyed that, Cheyenne. Good. Brittany, you didn't send me your sun, so I couldn't do your sun paths. But what I did do, Brittany, is I did your soul path card, Brittany, if you're still there. Let me know if you're still there, because I don't want to read through all this if you've gone. So Brittany, if you let me know if you're still there, and then I'll tell you about your soul path. Otherwise, if you watch this at another time and send me your sun planet, my brain's just gone blank. Sun sign, your star sign, the star sign that you read as your horoscope, that's where your sun is. So if you send me that, I can do your sun path like I have for the others. So right, that's taken us like so long to go through all that. I hope that you're still, I've still got a few people here. That's not bad. I actually didn't bother with TikTok tonight because I thought, like, all everybody wants to do on TikTok is just like send loads of questions, and nobody's going to want to sit through me actually talking about PYTHASTRO tarot and rabbiting on about it. So I just didn't bother with TikTok tonight. So yeah. So what do you think of it? I hope you enjoyed it. I can't see. I don't think Brittany said anything else, so I don't think Brittany's still there. Perhaps not. I wish I could see who was here. Wouldn't it be useful? And then I'd know, because the chat's slightly behind, and of course it takes people a while to type in as well. It's actually, we timed it one time and it was like 17 seconds behind what I can see. So when you hit send, it takes 17 seconds for me to actually see it on the chat, which doesn't sound like a long time, but it is. Like if I go, oh, tell me if this happens, and I'm like, and nothing happens. So I hope you enjoyed that. That's PYTHASTRO. As I said, I have written a book on it. It's such a long book as well. I'm sure it's completely tedious, but it will be available on Amazon in the next couple of weeks. But because it's my book, I'm creating PDF version, as I said, and what I'll do is I'll put it on my website for sale. But for you lot, for my subscribers, I'll give you a code so that you can download it for nothing, so that you can read all about your how to do all your paths. Oh yeah, cats. Yeah, that's the way to do it, isn't it? Put a 1 in the chat for this. That's why people say that, isn't it? So they don't have to sit and wait for the typing to catch up. I should learn. I need to learn the ways of the YouTube. Yeah, so what was I saying? I forget. Yeah, so if you get the PDF, what you can do is it shows you how to calculate all your paths, and then you can read them at your leisure. You know, you could literally spend like a whole day reading all the different paths. It takes ages to go through everything. It's a really complicated system. But you can also, there's like what you'll find in the book, and you see this, there's like little charts. I do like a spreadsheet, little charts where you can put all your different things, so you can work out what's conflicting with what and what works with what. So there's all sorts of tools. So it's like a workbook as much as anything, so that you can write things down and plot your PYTHASTRO matrix. So, okay, I think that we're going to call it a night then. If you're watching this as a recording, I hope that you've enjoyed it. Come back and join us live. We're doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday nights now at 7 o'clock. It's at Sky Spirit Creations. Oh, Brittany, you're back. Right. Brittany, Brittany. Let us see. Where is your bits and pieces? Now, Brittany, because I didn't have your oh, I've lost it. Because I didn't have your sun sign earlier, I couldn't do what I've done for everybody else because I didn't have it, okay? But what we'll do is I'll do this again, and Brittany, you will be the first person, okay? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you what I'm going to go through yours is really interesting actually, Brittany, and really unusual. So I think I'm going to tell you what it is. I'm going to talk you through your soul path, but we're not going to do your full reading, okay? Because it's a really interesting one, so I don't want to like rush through it, and we've already been going like over an hour and a half. So basically, Brittany, you have got your, where are we? I'm saying it's really interesting, and I've just put down everything that I was just talking about. Right. So you've got 3 aces on the go here, Brittany. Your soul path is the Ace of Swords. Then your birth name value, because I know it's Scorpio now, is the Ace of Cups. And your birth date value is also the Ace of Cups. So you've got a duel going on. In fact, you've got the treble. Brittany has scored a hat trick, okay? But she's got air of Ace of Swords is your soul path, but you've got 2 aces, a duel, the Ace of Cups twice for your sun, which it brings a whole new perspective to things, okay? Because you literally, it's all about beginnings over and over and over and over and over again for you. I'm just going to talk you through your soul path card because I'm telling you that you've got 2 aces, but I haven't been able to do that sort of amalgamation that you saw me reading through before, but I will do yours next time we do this, okay? So if you want me to do this again, then we'll do Pythastro again, and Brittany, you'll be first person that we will do. Put a 1 in the chat if you want me to do Pythastro again. Put a 2 in the chat if you want me to shut up and not do Pythastro again. Put a 3 in the chat if you prefer just the standard pick a card style live shows. While you all put 1s and 2s and 3s in the chat, I'm going to go through Brittany's Ace of Swords, the inspired mind. Brittany, this is your soul path. So this is the energy that you are carrying from life to life to life, okay? The inspired mind. So your clarity strikes like lightning, it severs illusion and it births new perceptions. The inspired mind awakens to truth, vision, and the raw power of thought. So your core essence is about fog lifting and mind awakening. You are receiving all the time downloads and becoming more and more lucid, and your mind's becoming more and more unclouded. The personality embodies the beginning of mental clarity, intellectual breakthrough, and the courageous pursuit of truth. Oh, Brittany, thank you. You've got the spark of new ideas all the time, so you're an ideas person. You are the first person to have like a breath of reason, that idea, that coming forward with new things. You're the sword that cuts through the distortion to reveal what's real, with a very, very sort of sharp mind. You seek to define, understand, and name what others might leave vague. Your presence is electric. You're inspiring vision, provoking insight, and challenging falsehood. You've got you have sort of moments of revelation, so there's like little uncoverings all the time, like oh, wow, like downloads from the universe, like those moments that you like, ooh, glitch in the matrix, like that is like you constantly. When you arrive, there's like a new philosophy is born. There is, oh thank you KLG, you're somebody that dares to ask questions, that voices hidden truths. You can sort of come at things before they're even sort of before they've solidified into fact. you're there on the case. Your mind is already working things over. You're all about potential, especially with those 3 aces. I wish I'd had this Scorpio earlier, because like yours is going to be such an interesting one, Brittany, because of your 3 aces there. In your light, this is, remember, all I'm doing here is your soul path. This is your first one, so we haven't got the nuance of the sun paths and the shine and shadow, because it like literally takes me about an hour to do each one, so I couldn't do it just on the fly. So light and shadow. In light, the inspired mind is revolutionary, visionary, and brave. You possess a rare gift for uncovering truth, seeing beyond appearances, and naming what others cannot. Your thoughts are fresh, original, and catalytic. So that means that you can literally put 2 and 2 together and make 3. So you're constantly inventing. It's inspiration. It's almost like the 3 of Wands energy. It's like if somebody hands you a pile of sticks, you'll build a house. Somebody gives you crayons, you'll make a masterpiece. You're a natural innovator, clear communicator, principled thinker, who thinks, who speaks not to please but to awaken. So you don't like mince your words, and you don't like pussyfoot around people, and you don't like blow smoke up people's asses. You don't speak to please. You will speak your mind. With your energy, breakthroughs can happen. These are in relationships, idea, arts, or justice. All right, so that constant download from the universe, constant changes, beginnings. Aces are about new beginnings. You've got a fierce intellect, but you wield it well, so you use your intellect well. In shadow, you can be dangerous, and I don't mean that like you need locked up. I mean that you can become quite cold or cutting. You can be you can cut people dead with words. That's that sword's power. You can wound people at times, if you sort of, you can really let rip verbally. Now, again, this could be tempered by your sun cards, by your shine and shadow. So this is pure, just the soul path at the moment. Let me just go. Okay, moving on to, I'm trying to pull out the relevant parts of this. In the world, this personality often shows up as someone who is in the early stages of thought revolution, a student of philosophy, a whistleblower, an inventor or communicator who speaks the unspeakable. So somebody who dares to say what others will not say, somebody who can be a writer, a researcher, a journalist, a scientist, a strategist, somebody who embodies the new, who gives birth to new ideas, who invents things. Think mad inventor. And that would be you. You have a voice, but you'll give other people their voice as well. You have an ability to reframe, to re-challenge, to propose new ideas where others only see tradition. So you're not afraid to go off the beaten track. You tend to show up during times of transition. So it's like a revolutionary thing. You know, those people that just appear from nowhere when things really need to change and they get them moving. That would be you. You're all about the action. You don't leave others to finish work. You'll be the one that does it. Your energy can be short-lived, like you'll get really behind something and then suddenly run out of energy, because that's the ace. You are the beginning, not necessarily the end all the time. In relationships, you're drawn to somebody who will stimulate you intellectually. You'll thrive on deep conversations, philosophical debates, and honest dialogue. So you won't like anything that's too sentimental, too touchy-feely. You're after sincerity, you're after depth in communication. Crave partners and friends who value truth over comfort, and who are willing to trust and willing to question things, that aren't right. All about mutual growth as well. You might struggle with emotional expression, so you might find it difficult to express your sensitive side. You might find it's, that you're hard on yourself in that respect. You can be a little bit detached at times. Sorry, I'm just scanning because not all of this is relevant, because I'm reading from something completely different. So your journey, your growth path is to move from pure mental clarity into conscious, heart-aligned expression. So it's moving beyond the 1, moving to the 2, to the 3, and integrating that from a beginning into something else. So what we're going to do, Brittany, I'm going to, it reminds you, okay, the Ace of Swords reminds you that the truth is not an end, it's the beginning. So when you are seeking the truth, think about it as, you know, that is the first thing, that is your tool, that is your gift. You're able to get that truth. Now, where do we go with it? How do you expand on your ideas? How do you move out from the basement of the inventor and start to manifest those things into your actual life in a sort of realistic, tangible, practical way that brings sort of abundance to yourself and to others? Because you've got such good ideas, and like, I think you probably forget or discount more of your good ideas than most people will have like an entire lifetime. You probably just like push them to the side on a weekly basis, the amount of ideas that most people would like literally spend a whole lifetime sort of getting. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to leave that there, because what I really needed your sun paths there, and I honestly I just didn't have time with just finding out you're a Scorpio. But did we get some ones? I was so busy reading there that I think I saw some ones. I'm just going to pretend that everybody put a 1 in and nobody put a 2 or a 3 in, and just say that, yeah, we're going to do Pythastro again. So when should we do Pythastro again? Should we do it Monday or Wednesday or Friday? Do you think we should just continue with it on Monday, or do you want to just keep this for a Friday thing? Brittany, you are so welcome, my darling, and I will come straight back to you. Thank you, Mr. Steve. I will come straight back to you, Brittany, when we pick up this in the next session. I'll do your full reading. Okay, so that was just a taste because I haven't got the nuances going through there yet, so we'll do that. Just let me know in the Discord. Oh, by the way, if anybody's here that's not in the Discord, then you want to do it on Monday, Brittany, okay, we can do that. And KLG wants to do it on Friday. We'll do it Monday and Friday if you want. We'll tell you what we'll do. We'll do Brittany's Pythastro on Monday, and then we'll do a normal show for the rest of Monday, and then we'll keep normal Pythastro to a Friday thing. And so we'll do Brittany's Pythastro on Monday. So Brittany, be around at 7 o'clock Monday evening, and we'll do your full Pythastro on the Monday, and then on Fridays we'll keep Fridays and do lots more Pythastro and stuff like that on Fridays, because it's been enjoyable and I've liked sharing it with you. So yeah, KLG's just put our Discord community link into the chat there, so if you're not a member, then please come along and join a group of marvelous like-minded people who all know loads of stuff about quantum, Mr. Steve, so get yourself on there. So it's been wonderful to spend this evening with you. I'm sorry that it's dragged on a little bit, but I'm totally passionate about this subject, so I hope you can tell, and I hope that it's inspired you to think about it too. So I can't wait to share the book with you as well. So as soon as I've got that PDF sorted, it will be yours. It will be yours to use. Right, okay, so we will see you again. Have a wonderful weekend. If you're watching as a recording, come and watch me live. Be blessed, be happy.